Hi all.
Hello guys, everyone.
Am I all?
So myself, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So here we are starting our Azure workshop. So I have an awesome personality here who is Bhargavi ma'am. So she is an MCT Microsoft Certified Azure Data Scientist Associate, and she will be leading our workshop. So we're talking about her is she's a highly motivated professional with excellent problem solving skills, analytical, leadership, and communication skills. She is a passionate developer and she studied from BITS. So, here, over to you, ma'am. We will like to know about Azure from you. Over to you, ma'am.
Sure. Okay. Um, Thank you. Let me share my screen. I'm not able to share my screen. Can someone help me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Now your screen is visible.
Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Your screen is visible now.
Yeah, ma'am, it is.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's get started. As As you all see, I am Bhargavi, and I am a certified Microsoft certified trainer, and I have done my Microsoft certified data science associate certification as well. And I am a software developer at Ford, and my area of interest are artificial intelligence, Microsoft learning, cloud computing, robotics, and power automation. I have done my data science from Bets Pilani, and this is my LinkedIn. If you are comfortable to connect with me, then connect with me. Okay, let's. Sorry. The course agenda will be like this. It will have six modules in it, and out of which we will be covering the module 1 and 2 today, and we will have labs as well covering these, and when we are done with all these modules, we would be able to attend the Azure certification, which is AZ900, which is the basic of cloud computing certification. And the module 1 will be very basic, like it will have the cloud concepts, and the module 2 will have the core Azure services, which will be covered in detail by today. And module 3 will have core solutions and management tools, and module 4 will have general security and network security. Module 5 will have identity governance, privacy, and compliance. Module 6 will have Azure cost management and service level agreements. And coming to AZ900 certification part, the weightage is splitted like this. For describing cloud concepts, it will be like 20 to 25%, and for Azure services, it will be 15 to 20%, and for core solutions, it would be, and for module 3, like it would be 10 to 15%, and um, uh, for module 4, it would be 10 to 15, and for module 5, it would be 20 to 25%, and for module 6, it is 10 to 15%. And out of these, we will have 1000 marks, and out of those, we should earn around 700 marks to get the AZ900 certification to be cleared. These are all the labs that would be part of the AZ900, so that we can proceed with the AZ900 certification. Now, let's get started quickly without any delays. So, module one basically is all about the cloud models. The cloud models, like we will be discussing about private, public, and hybrid cloud, and we will also decide on what would be the best for us, and apart from that, we would also discuss about the cloud benefits and the considerations. Benefits of the cloud, will have more about it, and the cloud considerations will also have will be part of it, and we will also discuss about the cloud services, which is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, and how the responsibility is being shared among those. Okay. What is cloud computing? As we all know, it is like delivering the computer services over the network. Like even the small organization nowadays will have the cloud computing in it, and without cloud, there is nothing these days. Like even the small gadget that we use on a daily basis is a cloud. What I mean is, we have Gmail, and Gmail gets stored in Google Cloud. Likewise, everything gets into the cloud, and without that, we cannot we cannot run our daily basis right now. And what are the advantages of the cloud computing? Is we would be computing it, and we would have networking, a good networking on it, and the main part is the storage. And the last advantage would be the analytics part, because we can check on what usage we have, on what area we have stored. These are all the things that we can get details from the cloud itself, and that's a major advantage of the cloud computing. Moving to next part, public cloud. Public cloud is basically owned by the cloud services or by the hosting provider, where the where the cloud is being provide where the where the resources and the services to the multiple organization and the users, and it is all over the world, and this can be accessed by anyone. And this has to be accessed via the secure network connection, and majorly for every cloud to be accessed, we need a internet connection um, to be access to it. And second one is the private cloud. Private cloud is something like which will be maintained uh, by an organization for its own purpose, um, uh, or with a data center being created by its own organization. It is called as private cloud. And the the organization by itself will be responsible for creating the all the services that are needed for it. And this will not allow the outside users of the organization to provide access to it. This is majorly called as private cloud. Maybe these are all the things that would be very basic for some people, and that would be very new to few people. Let's start from basic. I thought to let's start from basic because if we know the basic, then we would be in a better place when we go and understand it. So I started it from the basic part. And hybrid cloud, coming to the next part, which is hybrid cloud. This is the combination of the public cloud and the private cloud, and this allows application to run in the most appropriate location. Like if you want, if you want public cloud to be in place, then that would be acting as a private public cloud, and at times it acts as a private cloud as well. That is called as hybrid cloud. And um yeah, the you will have now a confusion of why are we differentiating public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. And this is the major comparison between all these three. Like we will have when we go to the public cloud, we don't have to do a separate expenditure to scale up. And the applications are easily provisioned and deprovisioned when it comes to public cloud. And the organizations have to pay only for what they use, and they don't have to pay for the extra cost. Like earlier it was a monthly basis, on even if you use or not, you have to pay for the amount what you have given. Now now that case is gone, and you have to pay for how many storage that you do inside the cloud, and you have to pay for only that. When it comes to private cloud, what happens here is hardware setup must be done by the own organization, and all the services or all the setups that needs to be done for the data center setup has to be maintained by the own organization. And organization are all the updates and the hardware maintenance has to be managed by the own organization. And here nobody will have access to the private cloud unless and until have you are allowed to access for a private cloud. Other than that, you will not be allowed to participate in the uh, you will not be allowed to access the private cloud. And moving to next one, which is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a most flexible one, and most nowadays mostly organizations go with these kind of the hybrid model, because they can use the public cloud and they can set up it with the private kind of things, and they can combine the public uh, public advantages as well, and they can build their own model. So in this one, organization demand where their application has to be run. And this has security compliance or legal requirements. And moving to the cloud benefits, these are these are some of the benefits that cloud has. Like it would have the high availability. Cloud will be available all the time, like 24 bar 7, and they can be used anywhere. And this has fault tolerance as well. Even if one server gets down, then another server will be up, and we can access the data that are present inside the cloud, and we don't have to stop for some server down or something. And scalability is something like, if your usage is small for 1 month, then you are paying for only that amount for that month. You don't have to pay for the entire amount that you have been you have said to you have committed for that month. And that would be and for the next month, if you are using high, then you are paying for that amount. You don't have to pay it, you don't have to pay for the exact amount that what we have been committed for. And elasticity is something like, it is similar to scalability, where the where the cloud being where you can use the okay, it is similar to the scalability, where the cloud can be used at like it is also we can uh, we can get committed to the we can get committed to one thing, and we can enlarge or de size to it, and we can get the size back. And global reach is something like, we can use it all over the world. It is like, we can host at a particular region, it where it where we are near to it. Like, if we are in North America, then we can launch it near the North America server, and we can make it all over the world. And if we are near Asia Pacific region, then we can launch it in Asia Pacific region, and we can make it reach to everyone. That is called as global reach. And customer latency, we also have latency capabilities to it. And agility is added benefit to cloud. And predictive cost considerations are being done as part of the cloud. And disaster recovery is also a major advantage of the cloud, because we may have a disaster at times, where the like what I told for the fault tolerance, we may have a server down at times, and we may have all the datas being lost, where at those times we have to make the data from we have to recover the data from those, and move it to the nearest server, and make it available. And that is where cloud plays a major responsibility. And security is another thing which will be very good when we go to cloud, because um, we would be having we would be have like what we saw earlier. We may have private clouds and public clouds, where the data will not be allowed to go outside of the region organization, or we will be having a great one over there. Mm, moving to the next one, which is capex versus opex. Capex is something which is capital expenditure, and opex is operational expenditure. Capital expenditure is for upfronting the upfront spending of money on the physical infrastructure. Like, we will be owning the data center, and we have to spend money on doing services to it, and for updating the server, and we have to bear the cost for those ones. Operational expenditure is where the services part and the update part will go ahead. and we have to spend on the products, like we have to get the product, and we have to, it is like pay as you go. We will be paying for what we use, is what pay as you go policy. And we will be billed immediately. We don't have to pay for the extra ones that we have committed. And this is one, this is where cloud plays a major role. And moving to next part, which is consumption based model. Consumption based model, in this one, the cloud service providers operate on a consumption based model, which means that end users only pay for the resources that that they use. Like whatever they are using, they have to pay the money for what they are. This results in the better cost prediction, and the price for the individual resources are being done, and the services are being provided at a better quality, and billing is based on the actual usage, and the extra, it is similar to what we saw for pay as you go policy. And moving to next one, which is cloud services. Cloud services will have different types. One is infrastructure as a service, and next one would be platform as a service and software as a service. We would go in deep about these three things. Um, First one, what we are going to look at is infrastructure as a service, and at infrastructure as a service, we would build a model which is of pay as you go policy, and IT infrastructure by rent, renting the servers, virtual machines, storage, networks, and operating systems from a cloud provider, where we would not be having the infrastructure. We would be getting a rent of whatever we need, and we would be using it. This is called as infrastructure as a service. Like what you see in the uh, figure, we may have we will have different kind of requirements. Like we can rent only the server and the storage, wherein we can have the data center and everything at this. The next one is platform as a service. Platform as a service provides environment for building, testing, and deploying software applications without focusing on managing underlying infrastructure. Like what you see here, we may have those things. We may have these things to be as in infrastructure as a service, right? And when it comes as a whole, like we have operating system as well to be provided as a service, and we also have development tools, database, everything to be provided as a service. Then that is called as platform as a service. And moving to next one, which is software as a service. In this, to be in layman terms, everything will be provided as a rent part. Like what we do in Microsoft O365 and email, calendars, everything will be covered under those one a Microsoft O365, right? When we get the license for O365, then we may have n number of applications which will come under the O365. And that is a basic example of the software as a service. We would be getting a software itself as a service, that is called as software as a service. The comparison of these three goes like this. We have a pay as you go model for software as a service alone, and we have a application development which is focused on platform as a service, and we will have the most flexible cloud service and infrastructure as a service. And out of these, what we have to do is, we have to pay for what we are using, and wherein wherein for the software as a service we would be going for the subscription model, like what I said. Microsoft O365 license subscription is one of the example for it. And for platform as a service, platform management is handled by the cloud provider itself. And for infrastructure as a service, we will be handling we will be handling the hardware as well, when it comes for the infrastructure as a service. This is how the shared responsibility is split off. When it comes to on premises, which is private cloud, everything will be taken care by the own organization itself. And when it comes to infrastructure as a service, storage, networking, and compute um, will alone be taken care will be taken care by the cloud, and all other things will be taken care by the organization. And when it comes to platform as a service, this would be taken care by the organization, and these things will be taken care by the cloud provider, which is Microsoft Azure here. And software when it comes for a software as a service, only data you have to provide, and all other things will be taken care by the cloud provider itself. Okay, moving to the serverless computing, which is with serverless computing, the cloud service provider automatically provisions, scales, and manages the infrastructure required to run the code. Like we don't have to look for the provisions to be provided to us. Like, it will be automatically provided, and the scale is also being automatically done. We don't have to separately put a scale. We don't have to worry about the scale here when it comes to serverless computing. And in Azure, we will have something called as Azure functions, which will be running. With Azure functions is basically a code uh, running your service, and not the underlying platform or the infrastructure. It will create the infrastructure for us without us being able to do anything. That also will be dependent based on the event what we do. And Azure Logic Apps is something which will be a cloud service that will help us to automate and orchestrate tasks. And in this one, the business process and the workflows will also be a part of it, and the data systems and services will also be integrated to it. Uh, this is all about the basic things of the cloud and the cloud models. Let's stop here and quickly run through the few slides of this is where Microsoft Azure.portal.com is where the site you have to log in for when you are logging in, and you have to create a new site. You have to create a new ID, or you have to create if you have a um, ID created to you, then you can give it over here and proceed with the next one. For some services, I'm stopping for a second and will be back in 1 minute.
Ma'am, if you're saying something, you're not audible.
Okay, 1 second. I was entering my ID, so I wasn't able to share
Yeah,
my screen.
no problem,
Let me,
ma'am.
okay, let me share my screen again. You might have to enter your after entering your credentials. You would be taken here, and this is called as Azure portal, where you will have n number of resources which are needed, and based on that, and while you create for the first time, you would be asked for a credit card details, because based on the amount of the usage that what you are doing, you would be billed for. So you would be asked for credit card details, and you would be billed with one or two rupees, and you would be given back those money also back. And when we come back, this is the source of where we have when we have to create a source, we would be clicking on that. And we have these things over here. We can create these resources, like we can create a virtual machine, we can create a Kubernetes service and Azure Cosmos DB. We can create these things. We also can create SQL DB inside it, and we can build a web app. um, all those also have how to do based on the Microsoft Learn uh, details as well, and we have documents as well on how to use those. And it's very clean and very easy usage. Let's see an example of how to create a virtual machine. And when you create, then that would be going to the new create a new virtual page. And here, when you give whatever the virtual machine you are giving for, you have to give a resource group. And we will not be having a resource group at the starting stage. So what we would be doing is, we would be creating a name for that as well. Like what I do, I give, I am just giving a name. And then you can give a virtual machine name as well. It can be same name, that doesn't matter. You can give whatever name you want, and you can go ahead and create with that. you can specify the size, and that would give you how much memory you use and how much bill it would be for a month. Like if you use a standard D2 V3 version, then this would be the monthly bill that you would be getting for. And if you want to get a higher version, then that would be having a D4 version of it, and this would be the cost. And if you don't want, then you can simply go ahead and click this one. It's all based on the uh, needs that we need. Also, we have different authentication type as well. Like we may have the SSH policy, or we can choose the password type as well. For better usage, we would be selecting the SSH public key, and we would for now we would be using it. Um, I have already gave a name and have been using it. Where all those star marks are the necessary fields that needs to be filled in, and without those, it would not allow you to create it. And after doing it, you would be asked for a review and create. And when you gave the review and create, this is what it would be telling you. Uh, uh, the subscription apply, it would be asking for you if it's okay for you to okay with the charges, or you want to go back and revise those, is what it would be asking, and that would be doing it. After here, you have to give your name, everything, and you have to fill in, and uh, have to give your phone number as well to get it created. I'm not going in deep of how to create everything. I'm just going back. Um, like this is one of the example of what we see. And if we can, Azure not just allows you to host the Microsoft provided applications alone, rather it also provides the third party applications as well. We can find many third party applications which can be used inside the Azure, and we can we can get those created, and we can get it used here. Like you can have all the services being listed here, and can choose whatever you want from these, and make it used. I am just I'm just quickly running through these, like what you see here. When you want a Kubernetes services, then you can click on those, and you can we don't have this means that we don't have any Kubernetes that was created. So what we would be doing is we would be creating a cluster first, and then we would be creating a these things. And don't worry if you don't understand anything at this point. We may have it covered at we will go in deep. Everything has the similar way. You have to create a resource group if we don't have, and if everything comes under the same, then that would be given as the same resource group. And if you are using for individual purpose, then your cost will be displayed at the right side of where it has been, um, where it where we would be giving like if you are a student or college student or school student, then Microsoft itself provides some um, advantage of having a hundred advantage of providing the $100 for a free service, and you can use those to be to be used for that month, and every month it would be varying. And when that 100 gets over, it would start charging for that. That is how it goes. And if you are an enterprise, if you are running an organization, or if you come under organization, then that Azure subscription depends on your organization's way. Okay, let's simply run through these as well. We may have different type of um, different type of these, like we will have compute, then storage, we may have databases, and then we also have AIML related stuffs as well. Like we can have computer visions. um, this is one of the most interesting part. Like it will itself by it will do whatever. We have cognitive systems as well inside it, and we have multiple things inside the AIML part which needs to be explored. um, like we can have face APIs which will be used to identify for the face recognition part. And then computer vision is something like we may have for the identification. This is also like identifying the person or train or objects to it. And machine learning is something which is very very interesting one. And in this we may have the different kind of the algorithms being used to it, and we can implement those as well, and we can make a small demo of the machine learning ones as well. We can and apart from this, we can also build a chatbot, and by using the Q&A makers, which would be wherein you can give the wherein you can feed those with the data of whatever you whatever it is going to do. And you can build a Q&A maker for that. These are all the things, some of AI and ML. And apart from that, what we would be mostly the questions for the AZ900 would be coming from compute, wherein compute will have the different things, like creating a virtual machine like what we saw. And then um, I'm not going in deep for all those things because there are plenty of things under the compute itself. And if we start going one by one, then we may end up losing time. So just start exploring those things, and you may find a different you may find everything to be interesting. And one thing, yeah, like what I told earlier, it does not allow just the Microsoft products alone to be hosted, wherein the third parties also to be, it allows third party applications also to be hosted. One example is this one, mm, where the SAP HANA is one of the third party application which is by SAP, and that is being allowed to be used by the Azure. Yeah, like likewise we may have different things, and we can use it. And apart from that, going back to this one, when this is majorly the categories that are for which the Azure services being provided. And coming back, yeah, we can also have storage being created to it inside the Azure itself. And there would be two different terms, one is storage and another one is database. Database is something like you can create access inside the Azure itself, and You can create SQL inside the Azure itself, and you can start using it. And I think I have pretty much covered everything based on the details of Azure, that whatever it is needed. And analytics is something which I left, I guess. Here we may have option for how we are perform. If you want to create a dashboard of how you are, I'm just telling an example. If you are creating an dashboard of how you are maintaining an cloud, and how many resources you have done created, and how much data you have used, and how much money you have been spending to it, then you can come here and you can create a dashboard by yourself, and based on any of the services, and not just this one. You can do a number of actions to it, and based on that you can take the responsibility of using, like how to decrease the waste usage, and how to increase the productivity, like that. Like those things, analytics will be very useful. And coming to security, it is like what we saw, like it would be used for the security purpose related things. The security team will be mostly using it, and when you have to create a active directory password, or when you have to create uh, active directory identity, then you would be coming here and you would be acting it. Mostly the admins would be doing it, and Azure admins will be having most of the access to it. um, yeah, we are almost done with the what is meant by Azure and everything. And the basic part what we saw is the how to create a virtual machine, and how to do the things, and like that. When you want to check for your own things, then you can go to subscription, and you can check for whatever it is there for you. And you can also check for what you have been using it, and you can look for those ones. Okay. uh, we will also have some useful links inside it. And like what I told, Microsoft Learn is one of the document part where we would be having the data to be learned, and it would describe about every resources being present here, and what are the services being present here. And this is one of the Microsoft free training that is available. And let's go through the AZ900 free resource training as well, which will be available for us. And once we are done with that, then that we would be able to write the exam is what the expectation is, and we can use that as well. And by the end of today's session, I would be going through that as well. And apart from that, this is all about the basic of the portal, Azure portal, and we don't have anything apart from that. It's not just you have to create everything inside the resource. Instead, you can use the cloud shell as well, wherein you can just a second. wherein you can use this with two different types. One is bash and another one is powershell. PowerShell, if you are strong with either of those, then you can select either of that and you can start using it. And that would actually require storage. So we have to create a storage for that, and we have to do that. Once that is done, we can we can be able to use that inside the cloud shell itself. Like, you have to enter the instead of doing it everything manually. Like, you have, if you want to create a virtual machine, then virtual machine creation has a separate command for it, and you have to enter that here, saying that uh, create VM of this name, and that would create a VM of its name with a region of whatever you want, and with a storage of whatever you need. You have to specify those things, and it would be doing it. You don't have to go and click here and do that. Some find this way to be useful because if we don't have to store the we don't have to remember the remember those things, and uh, here we would be uh, here we would be giving commands, so you don't have to remember those commands over there. And for some, instead of going to everything and getting it done, if you give a simple command, then that would work. If it works for you in either of the ways, then that's fine, go with that. All right. I guess we have done with it. I will let you know how to go for the Microsoft training documents. Inside this itself, you can find the Microsoft Learn, and when you go to Microsoft Learn, you can find different things. And like, if you go to documentation and search for Azure, and when you want to search for the Azure, click here. Okay, one second. I guess it went wrong somewhere. We have to go to learn, and inside learn itself we may have different parts to be covered. Like, uh, you will have different things here, or else, like, simply type Azure 900 fundamentals over the net, and immediately the exam documents will be opened here, and you can start using these sessions. These are all the things which would be used for us. And when you click on each things, then we may have the details covering each part to be very clear in it, and you can have a look of it. You don't have to worry. Whatever I showed you today will be part of those things, and uh, all those things will be covered in the learn document itself. We will have a knowledge check as well, and we would be able to do with the things. This is all about Microsoft Learn, where you have to start learning the things, and it will instruct you on how to prepare for the exam as well, and you will have the exam details which will be specified here. Like it will be updated on the May 5th, and you can download the skills which are being measured, like what I showed on the first slide of today's session. You can look at that and get it done. Are we clear until this, or do we have any doubts so far? Today is very basic class, and we would be going with the next one like tomorrow. Are we good until this, or do we have to stop somewhere?
We can stop here. So thank you, ma'am,
Okay.
for the awesome session. Like it was great to learn about this Microsoft Azure. We got to learn about compute engines and all virtual machines. Like personally, I like this virtual machines concept very much. So I would be also registering on this so that we can get hand-on experience in this. So here we can wind up and we will start tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks
Thank
all for joining. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you.